at it again. It doesn't feel like it's been a week.
It hasn't, but it's been.
Where can I see myself?
You
Oh,
can see
hey.
yourself now.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks, guys. Welcome to another Old Carver Fishing podcast here in Carver, Minnesota at Old Carver Fishing Tackle and Bait Shop. Today, we are in studio, a.k.a. in the bait shop, and we got a good one today. We got a special guest. First, before we get to our guest, we're going to go around the table. I'm going to introduce everybody, and then we're going to introduce our guest and get talking some fishing, ice fishing, summer fishing, life stories, really exciting stuff.
Got to get pulled out of the snow when you're stuck.
Yeah, how to not be stuck.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a big deal.
Get
Recently
unstuck.
become an expert on that.
Well, first off, I am Luke Henches, Fish on Luke on the YouTubes, Northwoods Angling as well, I guess I can say that. Next to me, we have the wonderful Tara Lindsay,
The blonde bomber.
the blonde bomber. Tara Fishing on the old
Yes.
TikToker. And then next to our guest on the end of the table, we have Scott Goodyman. He's an Old Carver Pro staff, part of Norfin, and we welcome Scott back for another successful podcast week here
Yeah.
in Carver.
And be in charge of the next intro.
And next to
No, I
him,
won't.
we in the red hat and the Old Carver fishing hat produced here in shop. If you guys want one, stop on in. That is Danny Two Cats, local legend,
Local
avid
legend.
river fisherman himself, kind of the
And now bartender.
bartender, the unfiltered part of our podcast.
Makes
That
the-
is Dan.
Makes the best Long Island iced teas
Yeah,
you can
great
have.
ones, I bet. And the
Yep.
talking
Really
across
good.
from me, the
You-
darker colored skin
Wait,
feller.
wait. You were
Oh
gonna
my
say
God.
talking
God.
smack across from me. You were gonna say that, weren't you?
No,
Oh, I thought you
no,
were.
no, I was actually.
Yeah, you were.
That's Chewy Godinez Jr., a co-owner of Old Carver Fishing Bait and Tackle Shop here in Carver, Minnesota, and Stoked Custom Baits.
So
And
nice.
We got a good one today in studio. He came in from 11 and a half hours away. No, I'm just kidding.
He flew in.
It is Andrew Walker. I'm going to go through the list of his accomplishments and the things he's recognized for since I can't remember them. Macula Tackle. I see Corey Bechtold in chat. He's part of Razor, which is an auger company. They kind of came around in the last couple of years and they've gotten really big.
Yeah.
People really like Razor augers. Lil John and the East Side Boys Bait Company. Lucky John. Just kidding.
That's awesome.
Lucky John. He's part of Norfin, and that's how him and Scott know each other. And he is also Ultimate Pan Fishing League fisherman. So we got some good information coming this stream. If you guys have any questions on pan fishing or fishing the UPL, make sure you ask those questions in chat. And Andrew
I
would
feel like the guy
gladly.
should get a round of applause just for all the sponsors.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Glad-
Yeah. Well,
This guy don't mess around, bro.
Well done.
This guy's doing it, man.
all the tackle I use, he's the
He
guy.
has 49 more sponsors I did not mention. I'm just kidding.
etc.
So, Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself. I'll kind of preface what we're going to talk about. Where are you from?
Yeah.
What got you into fishing, ice fish or pan fishing? Let's just start there. We can get into more details on what you've done for fishing. But where are you from? And
How
what
many
got you into
years have you
fishing?
been fishing?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. So started fishing at a young age, grew up West Metro, currently live in Maple Plain. Grew up just west of that a little further, went to Watertown Mayor High School out that way.
Nice.
So kind of grew up fishing all those little rural lakes out that way.
Some good ones out there.
There certainly is, both panfish and bass and
Yep.
a few other things. So yeah, and anything I could, I was constantly riding my bike to any lake I could, just anything I could do to wet a line. Luckily I had parents that were supportive of that and they kind of encouraged that. And so, you know, I remember being real little, riding my bike to the lake, my mom sitting there reading her magazine just to keep me company because I was too little to be by myself.
That's
And
awesome.
I
so
like
it started
that.
at a very young age and it just kind of perpetuated. And then as I got older and a little mouthier, I think they started sticking me out on the lake just to get a break from me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, certainly my dad gave me a hand auger. I think I was about 12 or so. And me and my brother would have to tag team it. One would hold while the other one turned.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'd switch off and take turns.
That's
just-
normal
That's
when you're young.
awesome.
Yeah.
And we had no idea where we were. We drop a line and we do the old count.
And those
out,
hand
our
augers
legs.
never cut good.
No.
No, they're always dull.
Yeah.
And they never
And
drill.
you got a couple of kids with it, so you're smacking it.
Yeah,
Into everything. You're not hitting it or nothing.
Exactly.
Oh,
Half
gosh.
back when we used to use our rotary phones, and now we have ice augers on drills.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Things
Yeah.
have changed.
Yeah,
Certainly. Yeah.
Yeah.
because I
Fast.
did the same thing. I rode my bike, packed whatever I could, and did some fishing. But
Yeah.
yeah, now it's all changed.
It's
Oh,
like
certainly.
throw your
Everything.
tackle in a backpack and just go.
Yeah,
Yeah, the old like the cut off broomsticks with the nail on the end, and you did the old hand lining. That's what it was, and it was a ball. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember some of those best memories are from doing that old school stuff.
And none of the kids nowadays will ever get to experience that.
No,
When I was like 10, 11, 12, 13, we didn't live up. I graduated up from Bemidji, and it was just a cabin when I was a kid growing up from like nine until I graduated. I moved up there in 8th grade, but it was a cabin until 8th grade. And I remember when we'd come on the weekends, we didn't have a heater in there. We just had a fireplace. So we'd heat the whole house with a fireplace. And my dad added on to the cabin. And this is one of the cabins that's like right by the lake, which you can't do anymore,
Yeah.
And we used to sit inside while watching the Duck Commander VHS videos in our socks and pajamas with tip-ups out in front of the house. And we'd watch the tip-ups. And then when a flag would go, we'd all throw our boots on and sprint out to the lake.
Yeah.
I have so many good memories of watching the Duck Commander and going running after tip-ups.
And I did that a couple of years ago, South Dakota, Walleye Promised Land.
oh yeah,
6 guys, 4 lines apiece. That means 24 lighted tip-ups out there.
Oh.
Just awesome.
Oh.
Awesome. So much fun.
gets
So
real interesting when you get those multiples going off at once.
and
Yeah.
the later and later it gets in the
Yeah.
night, the more interesting it gets. Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm on the side camera now. Chewy's going to adjust it here. It's really triggering my OCD.
He's really weirding me out.
You gotta, turn the big knob. Turn that big knob there.
I
Yeah.
keep
Loosen
thinking
it.
he's coming in for a hug, but then it's a camera. But whatever.
He's gonna get it. He's got opposite way.
So anyway, more about this.
That's way
Ultimate
better.
Pan fishing
Yep,
league.
yep.
Let's just
Yeah,
kick right
certainly.
into that.
Perfect.
Yeah, so
yeah.
had a bunch of friends that were in the league and were fishing it. And to be honest, I was a walleye fisherman coming up to that point, and so hearing about it, I'm like, a bunch of grown men chasing panfish around, like that's
Before
what this is all about.
before we get into that, can you tell us about what?
understandable
Hold on.
skepticism because I'm in
can-
the same boat.
Can you tell us what the Ultimate Panfishes League before you get into
Oh,
talking
certainly.
about the story?
Yeah, so the Ultimate Panfish League, it's been around now 21 years, I believe it's coming on.
Yeah.
Matt Johnson founded it and still runs it, and so super passionate about it. He's an awesome director to have, and he certainly sacrifices a ton of time, money,
he does.
and just passion into that. So and it shows. So what it is it's 32-man teams in a 4-lake tournament series that stretches through the winter. And it's a panfish league for crappies and bluegills, and you get 7 and 7 and a kicker fish at the end. So if you fulfill your bag of 7 gills, 7 crappies, you get a 15th fish of either or. So
Okay.
That's cool.
So how long have you been doing the Ultimate Pan Fishing League?
yep. So I'm about halfway through my 3rd year of it.
3rd year?
Yep.
So I assume in your first year there was no Panoptics or
That was right when it was coming on. So
Okay.
the amount of teams that had it were super limited, right? And then
Okay.
by the next year, pretty much everybody had it.
everybody.
It was
So-
kind of one of those wild
and now
things.
everybody, you almost have to have it,
You
right?
do to be competitive at that level. You definitely do.
And
So-
I want to get into that a little later too about how he feels about that
Yeah, it's
because
been a hot.
it
hot
changes
topic.
the edge on fishing especially tournaments.
But
If you're a casual fisherman, and hear me out, if you're a casual fisherman, I don't care. I'm going to be honest. It doesn't matter to me. I don't fish tournaments. In my head, it brings the edge. It's not so much an edge when everyone's using it. It's just makes more people catch fish. But then you're losing some of that natural intuition to find the fish
Yeah.
when you can scan out however many feet. How do you feel about it, Andrew?
Certainly. So it's a tool in the tool belt, and so how well you utilize it, and that's really what separates like the very good tournament anglers from kind of everybody else is how well they utilize their tools and how efficient they become with it. So you talk about like there's a couple guys from Nebraska, Hesse and Nadolski, and I've watched them break down a lake, and it was absurd how good they are on it, and they're actually sizing their fish with it
Yeah,
as they go down the lake.
I know people that do that as
Yeah.
well.
And they're that proficient with it, and so certainly like when you're fishing, I'm still using the Vexilar to hole hop.
Mhm.
It's not a mobile device by any means, so I leave it mounted on the machine, but it's replaced that gridding out and drilling 200
Yeah.
holes. Now you're covering a much larger area with one hole.
Yeah.
And you think that changes the whole outlook of the entire league where you're not having to take that time to do that?
Yeah, certainly. If you can become more efficient and get right on top of those fish, it's much more and even the southern guys in those big crappie tournaments will tell you it's less trolling around and more sniping fish. And so
Just picking them off. At
Do you
that point.
do you think you're once you find fish without it and once you find fish with it, do you think it's similar on catching them, or do you think it just helps you find them faster?
it helps you find them faster, it helps you find structure
Do
faster.
you think you would still find them?
Certainly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tournament fishing will always boil down to how much effort you're going to put into it. So those that are successful are the ones that work very hard at it and become very proficient. So I don't think anything will ever replace that.
That's a
There's
good mentality.
never
to
going to
have.
be an easy button on it.
That's cool.
It's
Yeah.
just a button on the tool belt, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
And
But if you don't have it,
if you don't have it, you're going to be drilling a ton of holes.
So which
Yeah.
Vexlar are you running then?
I
Are
got-
you running the 30 or the 28?
I got the 28. I mean, it's proven, man. It's hard to give that up.
I'm running the 30 this year, and
How do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah?
It's so nice. Going
It's-
from an 8 to that, like, yeah, it's
I heard
That's a
once
big
you
jump.
dial
Yeah.
in-
That's a really big
That's
jump.
about as extreme
But I
of a
mean, I've-
jump as you can get.
I've been killing it with it this year. Like fishing the weeds with that thing is so awesome.
Yeah.
And I run it in low power mode a lot.
did you hang on to that Vexlar 8?
Yeah, I did.
Oh
I,
yeah, I
I,
still got
I have a
mine.
spare
dude,
unit for
Probably
people to
worth
come out
more
for
money
me.
than you bought it for nowadays. It's vintage.
When
That's
I'm
what
when I hole hop backwaters, I only run my 8 because my LX7 sucks in shallow water, and those backwaters are all shallow
You know,
for the most part. There are some deeper ones, but in general, when you get under 5 feet, which the graph really doesn't do you a whole lot of
No,
good
they
anyways
just
until
show
they're
up.
on you.
they're like right there.
But at least you
out of
know you're
nowhere.
gonna get bit. The FL8 is never fails me, and I don't. It doesn't have zoom, so I'm not gonna fish deep water with it. But yeah, I don't use my LX7 when I fish back. What's so funny?
It's
She's
the
just-
Nokia phone of
It's
Vexlar.
the
That's what I'm
Nokia
saying.
phone.
We're
like,
sitting
You
here,
know,
we're
she's
talking
thinking.
about
You know why Tara's laughing?
how this new technology is helping people, and you're sitting here
Tara's-
propping up an
Tara's
Vexlar
laughing because
FL8.
she's thinking I'm a peasant
killing
because she
me.
has an FLX30.
That's why
I've
we're
got a
all
30.
laughing.
That's what I'm running.
I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
bro.
you'll never. You could defend yourself from a mugger with that thing and then go
Right.
fishing. And you'll never break.
It's true.
It's a weapon.
That thing's fallen out of my sled so many times, and it's just been fine. I don't. My LX7 probably wouldn't live through that.
No, like my 8, I always caught a lot of fish with it. And I
Yeah.
keep it around for like my dad goes out with me. He doesn't have one, so I
Dude.
just let him use it. And I'm like, here, just
I caught a
showing him
lot
how
of
to
fish
use it
when
now.
I
and-
was reluctant. I'm like, I don't need a Vexlar. I'm a better fisherman than that.
I have a Norsk.
Like,
I have
no,
a.
they started coming out, and I was like, no, I'm not getting one. I'm not getting one.
I have a Norsk soft pack and a Norsk 7
And I
milliamp
got
for
one,
my
and it changed
FL8.
my life.
Literally, the whole thing weighs like 1.5 pounds. So like hole hopping and putting up tip ups, that FL8's perfect. Because I don't need to. I'm not fishing bottom. Don't look. What are you looking at me like that? This
Well-
is some weird stuff going on here, Dan.
Dan,
let's talk
how long
about
were
it.
you at the bar earlier today?
No, what I'm thinking is like it's 1.5 pounds and I'm hole hopping. So either you're gonna pick up a 4 pound,
No,
a
it's
3
it's
pound,
when
a
we're-
2 pound
It's,
Vexlar.
no,
That
it's
takes
when
up
we're
a hand.
when we're doing tip ups and drilling a bunch of holes. I can throw it around, and it doesn't weigh
throw
anything.
it around.
I throw that thing across the ice, Dan.
Jesus.
Anyways,
Like he said, you can don't ever cut me off on podcast. I don't know who she thinks she is today.
oh my gosh.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
I just want to say,
It's about
Corey,
time.
I'm coming out of Corey, and I'm gonna make Annie take the beanie off.
What's he saying?
Oh, he's saying everything.
It looks like he's been
Everything
busy.
that could be said.
Hi, Corey.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Wade
So how
started
about
kicking
Norfin Tackle and Scotty?
Yeah. No,
So
yeah.
did
No.
you meet Scotty first, or did Norfin and
Yeah,
Scotty
so-
meet you guys?
So one of the great things about this tournament series is how well Matt promotes it and the sponsorships he brings in, but also the exposure that it gets you. So through that, I met some guys that are on the Norfin team, and then they're like, you don't totally suck. We don't hate you. You're not terrible to look at. Like, would you be interested in coming over to Norfin? I'm like, absolutely, man. So I got to know that team, and then I believe it was the photo shoot was the first time
Yeah.
I got to meet in person.
And
So
we
we
were
went
out
out to
there.
Oh, that's where you guys met.
Yeah.
Wow.
It
I
was-
know what the
sense. That
photo
makes
shoot-
sense.
No,
That
it's
makes
starting to
sense.
make sense. Do you guys? Is it required to be on the Norfin team that you need a beard?
It's preferred.
It's preferred.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm just,
yeah,
I'm
they
just asking.
Dan, you're
They
out.
haven't
they
called
like
me
the
in.
icicles.
Wait, you guys being serious right now?
No, they're not
No,
being
it's
serious.
a joke,
Chewy.
Chewy.
Pinche.
Ay, ay,
Yeah, I should have
ay.
worn a
Yeah,
North
yeah,
Face
yeah.
shirt.
No comprendo.
Oh my
Oh, you threw
god.
me off there.
Oh, man.
So did you always
Mm.
love panfish?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's the gateway for a lot of people, right? You start out
Yeah.
fishing panfish, and then you kind of venture out, and so did that normal path, and then kind of ventured into walleye fishing. Started getting into other some stuff. Had some really good river fishing around me, and then how it came about is, you know, I had touched on. I was kind of like skeptical of it. I'm like, kind of mocked it a little bit that these
Why?
guys were,
Right?
yeah. And then I just had a buddy say, "Hey, I got a partner that can't fish. Do you want to fish this leg of the tournament with me, this lake?" Said
Sweet.
for sure. Went out and did it. We actually won that event, and still even winning
That's
it, I
awesome.
walked away at the end. I'm like, holy crap!
That
Like,
was
these
fun.
guys are good, insanely good, and but yeah, the amount of work and effort and just everything that went into it,
Right.
it just gave me a whole new outlook on it. So
Hmm.
yeah, so I kind of fell back in love with panfish, if you will, and got back into that.
How long
Yeah.
do those tournaments last?
So we'll launch out at 8,
Yeah.
and then weigh in at 2.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's
That's-
6 hours
Yep.
of just straight drilling and catching.
Yeah, yep. And they do. It's kind of fun. And we do a blast off. It's called. So we have 4 groups that just he drops his hand and you drag race, right?
Yep,
And you
it's
gotta.
awesome.
We obey the speed laws, of course, but
They're right on the edge.
It's like a shotgun start for catfish
Yeah.
tournaments.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
there's been some where you get those frozen lakes that, like, you know, you get a bunch of drifts that froze up, and I've seen some pretty good yard sales. I've also seen somebody was dragging a house one time, and that's one thing you learn quick is to be efficient. Is everything's on your unit, like you're
Yep.
not dragging sleds.
Yep.
They were dragging a house. It was super cold that tournament, and the thing opened up and became a parasail behind them.
Oh man.
Especially that
You
was
just see their stuff
epic.
launching across the ice as this thing's gliding up above them. And, so you see some good stuff.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
But they're not stopping.
No, you can't. gotta
You
get there.
can't.
Do we have captions on?
So
We definitely do.
is
I'm
a
reading them on
fast
Tara's phone.
snowmobile a requirement to be in the Ultimate Panfish League?
It's not a requirement. There is a requirement that you have like an ATV, snow dog, snowmobile, something of that nature. You can't drive vehicles out.
Sure.
You get it?
But snowmobile is obviously the fastest.
So you
Became-
guys-
yeah, back to that efficiency. It's the most efficient by far.
And then if you got what do you got, a flip over behind that you kind of work with?
So we a lot of guys. There's some really cool sleds out there, and Tom Dobbins did a photo shoot on it. It's the sleds of the units of UPL or whatever.
Okay.
Mhm.
And guys build custom. Like I got a Skidoo Expedition with a custom rack on it and a big like construction box on it that holds everything. And
Okay.
yeah,
So you don't necessarily need a house.
no, actually, nobody really fishes out of house.
He's got Norfin
Um,
gear. He doesn't need a hub.
No,
That's
that's
Oh.
that's absolute garbage. I understand that it's probably warm and stuff, but how do you deal with your gear? Like the ice, your tips, your line freezing.
Yeah,
Like you can't avoid that when it's sub-zero.
Oh,
so you obviously have to have
yeah.
a house
You
at that
battle
point.
it.
nope. So Green Lake last year was
They
negative
battle it.
26 at the start.
Okay.
Tatanka the year before that was negative
Okay.
21 at the start.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just battle it,
They-
and it goes right back to like keep it simple, stupid, like the KISS mentality.
Okay.
So if you look at tournament fishermen, you'll see a bunch of like HT ice blue rods, Shakespeare ice noodles
Okay.
with schoolie reels on them.
Sure. So you're fishing shallow, so you don't
Yeah.
actually have to use the reel.
Well, there's still basin
You can just
fishing.
pretty much
I've
fish it
watched
down.
guys peel up.
I'm
40
just
feet of
wondering how
line.
you do this because
yeah.
I try to ice fish in 10-15 and it's impossible.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like you can't have things breaking on you, so you just keep it as simple as possible and you stick to what works. So like
Yeah.
a schoolie reel, I can throw it in the slush, I can throw it in the snow, I can launch that thing, and it's just going to keep working. And so I was a late convert to that. I thought they looked kind of silly when I first joined.
Those circle
They're
ones?
fun.
Yeah. And then so I still had spinning reels, and then I've slowly converted. I'm like, saw the light. I'm like, yeah, no, this is great.
That's why the old timers had it.
Yeah, they were on
We
something,
tried to
man.
change it,
Makes
and now
sense.
we're going back.
Yeah, and so you modify them to fit your needs, and then I run 2-pound fluoro on most of my stuff. And
Sure. And that probably doesn't ice up so much. That
exactly, yeah.
sure.
Thinner diameter, less wind whip on it.
Yep.
High vis.
God, they got this dialed in.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like to a science.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I would say,
I'm slowly leaking information out of him, whether he likes it
oh
or
man,
not.
I mean, you guys keep giving me bush lights. I'll tell you.
And Amy said something in chat. She said,
Is that
here,
Miss
let me pull it
Munsinger?
up.
Oh yeah.
Said just wheelers to pull side by sides out is required for Andy.
So yeah. I mean, we were fishing Chisago for our first tournament this year, and I
Gee.
started the season with the side by side. And my tournament partner Brendan was like, "Hey, do you think we could jump? Thank you. You think we could jump that point and get to the other side of it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why not? We'll just floor it."
There it is.
Just ignore it.
Just send it.
So he was the brains, and I was the man with the foot on the pedal, and it worked out like that. We hit that wind drifted side of the point, and that was the furthest we made it.
So you're the operator blaming it on the passenger.
Yeah, I don't claim to be the brains of this operation.
Just the gas pedal.
Yeah, just the gas pedal. So after that tournament, I traded in my side by side, and both me and my partner bought sleds.
So that side by side you had set up pretty sweet though. I remember
Yeah.
the helix that you had in it because I remember checking that out in Wisconsin. I was
And
like,
there is
this thing's
now-
badass.
It's now on the sled right in the handlebars. Like, I don't need to see where I'm going. I just need to see the helix.
No.
We buried a side by side with tracks at Lake of the Woods
Ooh.
in slush. It was not good.
Oh gosh.
Luckily, there was more people on sleds, and like there was 4 of us or 5 of us that helped get it out with we used a rope with a 4-wheeler or a snowmobile, and like 3 people pushing it. We got it out, but when you get a tracked full size 4-door, heated everything inside, it weighs as much as it possibly can. You get it stuck in slush, it's trouble.
You guys have had a hard season for slush this year.
It's the ice has kind of been wreaking havoc on everybody. I'm sure you guys on the
yeah.
bait shop side of things. You know, it's not a great year for fishing as far as that goes.
Yeah, you can definitely feel it in shops. I mean, they're not as
We didn't run out of shiners until I don't know if we even have yet. And normally we do by
Yeah.
this time in the season. You know, you can't find them anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wade. This is
Just
mouthing off in
Wade.
chat. Wade's a guide up at Lake of the Woods.
Oh,
He
gotcha.
he takes people out at Slim's on Lake of the Woods there. So he does that in the winter, and then he comes back and works here in the summer. So, and he's all he
Bugs
can.
you.
He's just mouthy. Just
He's
a mouthy
fun.
man. Oh, he's great. I love Wade.
Yeah.
The day we went out in the boat with him was a good time.
He said they got real good ice up at Lake of the Woods. I bet they do.
I don't think the ice is going to change much. We did get an inch of rain,
Yeah.
and the creeks are flowing, which might
Oh, that
change-
river's gonna
yeah.
break up.
change
soon.
is always good on the river. But as far as like the lakes, it's just going to melt the snow, and then it's going to refreeze. Tomorrow?
It's gonna be smooth.
Tomorrow, it's going to be -1
Glare.
tomorrow.
Did you
I
see
mean,
that
we're
house
good.
on Tonka
Yeah.
I was
in a
gonna
foot
say,
of water?
Yep.
The
Yep.
water patrol out there actually put a post out saying they've had quite a few sleds and ATVs and trucks like calling because they've gone through or whatnot.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they should probably stop going under those bridges.
Yeah.
There's a
Dude,
big
people
part of
are
it.
crazy
They,
like
they
that.
haven't learned. They haven't
Every
learned
year.
yet.
Those channels out there
Every
are not
year.
good.
No.
But if I can take 5 minutes off my commute,
Yeah,
Right.
that's it.
Right.
You're right, but that's exactly what it is.
yeah.
Every time.
Or it's these unlocal guys just cruising through Lake Minnetonka like everything's frozen, and it's not,
Yeah.
because it never is.
Yeah, I get scared sometimes.
Yeah, I don't like that lake either.
Oh, that lake's
The only reason I don't like that lake is because the DNR webpage says to not eat any fish out of there. It literally says 0 fish per year.
There's a
What?
0 restriction there.
It says 0 fish per year on Lake Minnetonka.
Well, they only
I get one fish per year on the river, but 0 fish.
one fish per year. It's 2 per month on the Minnesota.
Okay, whatever.
say,
But it was
definitely.
0 on Tonka.
I don't eat
But
any
Tonka
out of
has
the
more
river.
shoreline than, I'm pretty sure this is a fact, that more shoreline than any lake in Minnesota, including all the bays and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And it's all rich people and all the lawns go right into the river, and they're all lush green.
I don't know if that's
lots
correct.
of
I
fertilizer.
feel like Leech Lake would have a lot more.
I double check that, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
Lake
just check.
Minnetonka has more
Just
shoreline than any lake. Not size volume, it's not as big, but the amount
Shoreline.
of bays
yeah.
and stuff that lake has is
There's
whatever.
a lot of
Yeah.
green grass.
Well,
You
either
can
way,
get lost
sure.
out there pretty
But-
easily.
but you-
actually.
you can imagine the amount of fertilizer that's dumping into that lake with all the
Oh, yeah.
properties around there. So, and
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain.
And
But
it's-
I've
and it-
actually followed a couple salt trucks last couple days, and I know that's all going into the Minnesota River where I fish. So I don't know if that much better
Oh,
either.
jeez.
When I look at the street and it's green, full of salt, I just get sad, and I'm like, that's going into
Everything in
our
town's going
fishery.
to the river.
Yeah, everything in the valley drains to the river,
Yeah.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah. I'm not glowing yet, so hey, cheers.
The river's
Cheers.
gotten the river has gotten exponentially better in the last 25 years, like in terms of water quality.
Yeah,
I mean, you can see
yep.
in the
We could
This-
see with the camera.
Well,
the mud
that's-
puppies that are making their way into Minnesota now, the sturgeon, the
That's what
spoonbill are
The
surviving.
more drainage regulations they
Yeah,
make,
oh yeah, for tillage and stuff too.
because they did a terrible job back in the 80s.
Oh,
of that,
100%.
and now they're starting to recoup their
Hmm.
losses.
Huh.
But that also made some really good lakes in South Dakota.
For what?
Really good lakes in South Dakota.
There's just a lot in the glacier region. What do
What's
we
he
got?
saying?
Oh man, it's
Oh,
another
geez.
waiter. Love that.
What else we got for our guests? Macula tackle.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, no, just to kind of wrap up on that tournament thing, though, like, I think the biggest thing is how much it accelerates your learning curve. Like, when you have to get to the speed of everybody else, I would say in the last, 3 years, I've learned more than the 10 years before that.
Yep.
So,
Ryman says you pay more for knowledge in that first year than
oh, you're donating money,
you
100%.
know, he's like, you're paying for knowledge
yeah.
the whole way.
And there's absolute hammers in it. I mean, you got Ben and Kobe, like Ben Letterman and Kobe Kraninger have won Team of the Year 2 years in a row now. They're sitting in first right now. They're looking like they might have a good run at it for the third year. I'm going to try to stop that, but you know what it is. And, before that, like last year, we had the national champs, the Brankies, Minnesota Panfish champions.
Yep.
We had just a stacked field in the UPL. So I just absorbed as much as I could as a
It's
sponge.
30 teams.
Yep.
Where are you sitting right now?
Third.
Oh wow, you're doing really
Attaboy.
well.
Yeah.
So
That's big
He's-
time.
we got
So-
high hopes. Man.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you waste your time fishing locally? Where are you from? Where do you live?
Maple Plain. So
Maple
yeah, so
Plain.
actually Minnetonka's 10 minutes from me.
Sure. Do
Yeah.
you
Loves
do you
it
do you really?
No, I mean I agree with everything you said. Like there's a ton of pollution in runoff.
is.
So, but there's
Not
some
bad.
monster fish. It actually is
There's
really
some
good fishing.
big fish in Tonka.
There is. It's over partied under fish.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you get away from those crowds and there's I feel like that translates to a lot of lakes. You get away from those crowds and there's some good stuff to find.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Some gyms out there.
Okay, what's your PB, Panfish?
And what so gill, I have a 12 and a quarter, or just under 12 and a quarter gill from Wisconsin. And then crappie, I have an 18-inch.
It's
Is it?
decent.
Are
What?
they on the, are they on the
Do
walls?
you have a picture?
They're replicas. I'm a big fan of replicas.
Yeah.
Holy
Fuck yeah,
smokes.
buddy. Sorry.
High
Hell
five.
yeah.
Sorry, Luke's mom. F yeah.
And so
18
I don't claim to be anything special. I've just had some very good fisheries around me and learned them and put my time in. And
Sure.
no,
And do you cut those fish locally, like kind of the lakes around you?
no,
I don't-
No, he
Cooler
said the
out
gill
here.
was from
Hey,
Wisconsin.
I'm a river fisherman,
Yeah,
and you already know my attitude
tell
toward
you, man.
panfish.
a very short drive from here. There's a lot of good.
There's a ton of good lakes.
There is. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to leave Chaska Chanhassen to do that.
No, yeah, there's plenty of monsters left out there.
For an 18-inch crappie?
Yeah, I think there is. Yeah, in Chanhassen, I think you could find one.
I've recently began dabbling in the crappie
Oh,
world.
James caught a 17-inch on Long Lake.
Bruh.
There's so many big ones. My neighbor
That
caught
was
a
a
2
mutant.
1/4 pound crappie out of the long.
Long
Good
Lake and
lordy.
Long Lake in Hennepin County.
Just so you guys know, Long Lake, you guys are probably figuring out where it is. It definitely fish killed this year. It sucks
Oh.
now,
Definitely.
unfortunately.
In Hennepin County.
Yeah.
It's,
don't even-
it's been
You
beat.
can say where it is, but that
It's
like
gotten
fit,
beat.
that like died out and it got beat out.
It got
Yep.
beat hard the last.
It's
like,
bad. We went out and drilled some holes.
3
There's
or
so
4
many dead
years.
fish, dude. It was bad. Really, really bad.
This year?
Yep.
And there's a
Couple
lot of
weeks ago.
springs
2
in
weeks
it
ago.
too.
2 weeks ago. It wasn't
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
What do we got? My son has learned more in 2 tournaments than just about anything else. It's a great league. Look out. We're coming from a 0.9 week, 1 points for the lead this weekend with the old dog sled behind the wheeler.
Yeah, go get him.
Nice.
Go get him.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. You get the whole gambit in the UPL, and it's cool to see. So like we have father-son teams, we
Yep.
have
Aw.
sibling
Jack-
teams, all
Jack
that kind of stuff.
Johnson's fishing
Yeah.
with somebody this year.
Did he
on
quit
his own.
singing?
Do they max
No,
out at
that's-
you
No.
max out at 30 or is
They
that
do it.
just-
There's usually a waiting list to get into it.
okay.
Yeah, I was on that waiting list for 3 years.
And then you told him you didn't ice fish, or what happened?
You're afraid
So-
of
Gave it
the
up.
walking on the ice?
I just
or
gave
what
it up.
happened?
No, that's when I really was out there.
Oh, you used to fish.
I used to fish.
God, Chewy, the old Chewy.
I was
Yeah.
about to say that. I was on the waiting list for a long
Now
time.
he just spends his time at
What happened
Lisa's.
is my friend moved to Chicago.
Is that waiting list
Yeah.
in order, or is it you get pull?
So it's
There's loopholes
it's
around
in
it.
order, but there's a loophole. So I got in and out of loophole. So like I said, a buddy
know
of
a
mine
little
asked
bit.
me to fill in for him, and so we did well. And so the following year, he's like, "Hey, do you want to partner up with me?"
Oh, you're a fill-in
it was his spot.
replacement.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
nice.
And he was just like, "Hey, by the way, I'm not going to fish it after this." So at the end of that year, I approached Matt Johnson. I'm like, "Is that spot mine now, right?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Oh,
Oh,
there you
so I
go.
kind of like jumped the
That's
line and got
nice.
in there. Yeah.
So if Scotty wanted to get in, does he has it? Do you have your name in yet?
No, I got to get a wheeler or something, dude. You can't. I'm not going on foot and running around. No,
Oh yeah.
no.
Oh yeah.
It's not happening.
Have you seen those East Coast tournaments where
No.
they can't use
You
motorized
guys got to
vehicles,
be
so they
like
do
so
walkout
many feet
tournaments?
away
Where,
from each other
where do
too.
you got to go to put your name in for the ultimate
Hang
panfish?
on a
Is it-
minute, Dan. So you guys got to be so many feet away from your partner as well, do you not?
Oh, so
in
you have
that
to
one?
be within 100 feet of
Yeah.
your partner, I believe it is.
And
and
like
then-
the NAIFC might be the other one that I was
Yeah.
thinking of,
And
where
then you
it's
have
like
to be
10
like
feet.
20 or 25 feet away from another team. So UPL's a little more laid back on it. NAIFC in its prime was pretty cutthroat. So
Yeah.
like you'd actively try to block teams. Even if they left their equipment in the hole but walked away from it, you could go fish that hole and they're not allowed to come get their equipment, kind of a thing.
That's crazy.
Ooh,
Oh,
I
shit.
like
So
that.
there was a lot more, like shystiness going into it, and a little more of that mental, Yeah.
Dude, that'd
Wow.
be
Like
so.
football
That'd be
attitude.
so
Yeah.
much fun,
I'm
bro.
gonna go tackle that guy.
The NAIFC closed this season.
They did. It's kind of a lot of turmoil in the tournament
Yeah.
scene. So I swear to God that damn.
How
weights
much
and fish
how
started
much
all.
traveling do you have to do for the Panfish League?
Yeah. So the UPL stays about within 2 hours of the metro. So not bad.
Okay.
The NAIFC, when it was up and going, they'll go all the way out to like Idaho, Montana, and then the other way as well, Michigan, Indiana.
Were you part of that as well?
Nope. So I was hoping to transition into that, and then they shut it down this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So
So
But-
ultimate Panfish League it is.
yeah, which isn't bad. It's not a bad thing at all. And I got a feeling that some of those teams that did make that jump are going to now be
So
coming
you're
back.
you're hoping to start chasing your big fish,
Yeah,
and then they shut her down. Now you got to go for fucking panfish.
No, that was panfish as well.
NAIFC is panfish, Dan.
Yeah, that was panfish as well.
Oh, that was panfish
Yeah,
as
They're
well.
all
yeah.
panfish.
He
leagues.
loves panfish.
It's all about panfish.
No, he doesn't love
Panfish
them.
no-
He's
there's
just,
no-
he's just good at it.
There's no walleye ice leagues that I know of.
I
are
don't
there?
love carpentry. I'm just good
no,
at
I
it.
think it's mostly
I
one-off
do it.
tournament type deals. Yeah.
There you go. Somebody started up. There's $1 million idea.
Yeah, no, I just got like a bluegill tattooed across my chest. Like it's panfish 24/7.
You did not.
Get it tatted.
I'd make you show.
Yeah, I would if it was there.
Oh,
Oh,
that was a
Smokes.
panfish.
No,
dub.
but I mean, I think I read one time 50% of all angling done within Minnesota is crappies and bluegill.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. And then 40% walleye,
Probably.
Yeah.
and then 4.5% catfish.
There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
We like to keep that down to like 2.5%.
Yeah,
That'd
get
be
it-
good.
So stupid YouTube people.
Golly.
They're ruining catfishing.
God.
In them guides.
Yeah, jeez, they're killing it.
Them guides. YouTube have at her. Them guides. Hey, sorry.
Yeah, I've got-
I'm sorry. Make your living. Sorry. I don't know.
That's okay.
I don't like it.
So I think you already said this, but how much longer do you have left this season?
Oh, yeah. So our next tournament's Sunday.
Okay.
We're going to be down on French Lake by Faribault. And then we'll have one more after that. So,
Okay,
yeah.
wrapping up
Okay.
there.
How many points do you have to get to first? What do you got to
Yeah,
do?
yeah. So they are now on a weight system. So it's accumulated weight through
Okay.
each tournament. So we are, I believe we're a couple pounds behind first. Yeah.
Ooh.
So we got to make something up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You need
so
an
you, like,
18.
vandalize equipment.
I haven't gone to that extent yet.
Sure.
You know,
You need a co-pilot.
I think we should talk off air.
I think we should talk on air.
We
That
are
makes it a
live.
joke.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Dang
But
it.
anyway, does that stuff happen?
I mean, I haven't witnessed
No,
sabotage.
it's a group of
Yeah.
guys.
There's definitely been some cheating and some other allegations that have happened throughout all the tournament scenes, and it's sad to see because it gives everybody a bad rap. But the other side of it is there's not that much money in it. Like you're not going to get rich tournament
No.
fishing.
How do you protect
It's for
against
fun,
How
like-
do you protect against the lead weights?
Lead weights. So I have heard of tournament directors using metal detectors on
Yeah.
the scales now.
Mhm.
It
Do you-
makes sense.
Like I'm literally why
What are
why
you?
wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like cuz that's scary cuz why wouldn't everybody or like just try it because
Wait, what? Just try putting weights in there?
no, try every tournament should have a metal
Oh, okay,
detector
now I'm with
or
you.
some sort
I'm
of
Oh, I'm bringing.
detector.
I'll bring my metal detector for Catfish League this year. We'll come live weigh-ins.
Oh jeez.
Oh,
You
if
can't
anyone
do
does
that,
that in
no.
Catfish League,
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, but how much metal did those catfish already eat on their own?
That's true.
Yeah.
Imagine the mercury that pops
fair
up.
point there.
That's a great point. Me and Tara are fishing league together this year.
Nice.
We're gonna wreck it.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's gonna-
Me and Chewy are doing
gonna-
league this year.
Oh yeah.
You're fishing?
Yeah, fishing
Wait, that's not a
Huh?
joke.
Are you
Fish
actually?
show. Yeah.
What?
between him and Rika.
I think he's lying.
No,
Dude,
Legit?
They look pretty
Yeah.
serious.
in the
I don't know.
in-
I don't know that Chewy guy fishes.
Yeah.
Are you really fishing it, Jewy?
I'm fishing.
I'm very persuasive.
So you and Rika are gonna take turns with the shop.
No. Oh no.
Looks like Chewy's lying right now.
I'm
No.
fishing it.
We're gonna
Promise?
we're gonna adjust
Swear?
the rules for next year's catfishing league.
Holy shit, this is gonna be easy.
Easy.
Right.
There's gonna be none of that.
Shots
There's
fired.
gonna be none of that daytime crap.
Right.
Well, if I fall asleep, yeah, I guess it might be easy.
Dude,
It'll
he's
be
gonna
team
asleep
two
then.
naps.
Then
Yeah,
I'll
we're
be
team
then
two
I'll-
naps.
then I'll be Chewy one cat.
It's funny they call me Danny Two Cats because I catch my couple and then I'm like, all right, you got the rest.
I mean, everybody's got to have their strengths, man.
Well, when tournaments go,
All right,
league
all
go
right.
tells early
Oh,
in the
yeah.
morning.
It's a
Yep.
monster.
It's a long
It
night.
was a grind last year.
It was tough.
It was.
So what? Yeah, tell me about the catfish league. I'm now interested.
Well, I can
in
tell you
this.
about the finals.
All right, that one.
Oh,
That one
ooh.
is
Because I
the one
won.
two to the left right
Thank you,
there.
Tara.
That's
Thank you,
James's
Tara.
47 pounder that was caught 2 years
Oh,
ago.
Dan.
That
In the
was-
league.
Yeah,
That's-
that was his
Well, let's
fir-
talk
that's it,
last
that's
year.
it.
That was
That
his
was
first time
last year
out.
matters.
That's the biggest catfish of the. So that's the record for the league.
What is it?
James
How
Cat,
big?
47.
yeah,
47.
in my John boat. That was after my that was after my two. I heard it. It hit like when a big cat bites and it like shook the boat almost.
That's
right?
the best. When the rod
And
goes
I-
flying.
And I was Danny Two Cat napping. And I went, that's a big one.
Dude, they just hit it different, man. Sometimes when you're in the rod's in the rod holder and you got the clicker on, they'll hit it and just go. The rod will just fly in the air and it'll snap and shake the whole boat.
James is
Yep.
that. Yeah, it shook.
Yeah, I
Like
love
it,
that.
And it wakes you up.
I always sleep with my foot on the boat.
So I'm like, James, big one, be good. And he handled that thing like a pro.
That's
And it
awesome.
was, that was his first time in the league, in the boat. Like that was his first time catfishing from a boat.
It's a good start, huh?
You would walk in the shop and look around and be like, you haven't put up my picture yet? No, dude. Hold on, dude. I can't find any frames yet. Man. It
That's
took me like
funny.
2 months to put that. And finally, I put it up there.
Should be a fun league this year,
Yeah.
though.
So every summer.
Yeah.
To answer your question
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
asked 5 minutes ago.
No, you're good.
So every summer, there's how many teams were there last year?
21.
21 teams of
Something like
two.
that.
It
And we-
got bigger last year from
Yeah,
the year
every-
before.
Every other Saturday, we just go out fish.
Nice.
It,
Oh,
it
it's
alters from 4 to 4 and 7 to 7 all the way through the night.
Okay.
So it becomes a long night. When
That
the
is.
sun's coming up when you get off the river, I don't hardly ever. I only lasted till 1 7 a.m. but-
Yeah. This year, my
Oh, I
vote is
lasted
to
the
change
full
it
12.
to go from 4 to 7 or 7 to 7. I don't care what time you start fishing,
Yep.
but it's going to end
And
at
then you have
7.
league champion and then finals champion.
Yeah, tell them about it, Luke.
Well, they have a tournament at the end of the year that's open to the public, but the final teams that make it to the finals fish against each other in the same tournament separately.
Okay.
Yeah,
Called
who
the-
who
called-
won, Luke?
I won that. I won both.
Oh God,
It was a 42 pounder, I think, won it. I got.
Chongus.
It's a big
Yeah.
one.
And,
Cut shad too, middle of the river.
Don't worry.
That's the best part.
Did you get a plaque?
Ye-
I got a plaque for mine. Did you get a plaque?
I'm just taking the camera off of you right now.
Still waiting for my first tournament win trophy.
No.
Hey, have you
my
ever
my
dabbled
son's still
in
pointing at him saying,
catfishing?
winner.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
Not on
It's
purpose.
fun.
I've caught like channels while walleye fishing. I've caught channels while ice fishing.
So you've never flathead fished with giant live bait?
No, nothing
Giant.
that cool.
Would you like to
Okay.
do that?
Would
I
you?
would. I would be very interested.
You're in very good company.
I mean, yeah. No, I'd be down for that for sure.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
What are we thinking? May, early June, late May, early June.
When I met Tara, she had never catfished. She's like, I'm not really into this river stuff.
No, that's not what happened.
Should we read our
He-
text from the first
The
time?
first time was ice fishing the river, and
Let me
that was
put the camera on
intimidating to
Terry.
me.
I
Yeah, she
love
said-
about
The
the
river
river.
is
She said, I'm not
intimidating.
sure about the catfish stuff. It's in our chat. I'll show
Bruh.
you guys.
Wait, what's Carrot?
Well, now
what's
she's
Carrot's new
obsessed with
nickname?
it. Now she's obsessed with it.
Totally obsessed.
The blonde
with it.
bomber.
The
Yeah,
blonde
blonde bomber.
bomber.
She's totally obsessed with
Now
catfishing.
we just fish all the time for catfish.
What's
Hey, you
fun
want to know
about the river-
what flathead really like to eat?
What's that?
Bluegill.
I believe that.
That's
They
true.
do.
It's kind of
I think
funny.
I've heard it. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
We're- We've been trying to get that passed to use bluegill for bait.
I was gonna say,
Undersized.
yeah, Wisconsin you can, right?
You can
Yeah.
use any game fish for bait in Wisconsin.
You just got to count it towards your limit. is
towards your daily limit.
Okay.
So I'm part of the workshop group with the DNR.
He's so careful
And
with
we,
his words.
I know I need to be careful. We
Yeah,
want to
very
get.
careful.
It's not our like number one. Our number one goal is 2 rods for the rivers,
it? Gotcha.
which has the most like. We'll pass way before bluegill for bait. We'll pass,
Yeah.
but there's a bluegill workshop group that's. I don't think they want us to use bluegill for bait. But there's so many stunted
Is-
bluegill in this.
Is
in
that
this
the
state.
bluegill initiative?
It'd be the catfish. It'd be the bluegill workshop group with the DNR.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a panfish workshop group because
Yeah.
we're catfish sturgeon. They're panfish, I believe, and then there's walleye, pike muskie,
No, it's-
Okay.
and I think I don't know for certain, but I feel like they would probably be against it. It'd be great if they were on our side, and we could kind of come
Well, maybe-
together as one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we could convince them that would be good management.
Well, speaking of that, Tara's part of the workshop group now. She was
Yep.
recently accepted into the group to be part of the clan of people, and it's
Jesus.
really fun.
How
So
many more accolades we need?
she's big time.
You
We
can.
got we
Yeah,
got
send
state,
Dan in there.
I didn't even
state
go.
They need
record
unfiltered
holder out of
Dan in there.
Wisconsin.
I didn't
I've
even
been
to
hearing
go over
about
her
this, yeah.
sponsors, guys. I didn't even talk about her sponsors.
Oh, we haven't
Shit.
talked about your state record.
We talked about it in the 2 podcasts ago.
That's right. Can we mention it this time?
Yeah, I have a
Our
state
state
record.
Can we
record.
say it again?
Shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Famous.
sick of it. I'm not even
Big
proud.
I'm proud to be in the company
I'm
of a
just
state
kidding.
record holder.
I've been on his boat.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, it was fun. With Wade.
Yeah, with Wade. And it was a lot of fun.
Oh,
That's
great.
that's Scotty's pickup line.
What? It was pretty neat.
No,
Pretty
I've been
neat.
in the boot boat with Luke Canches.
Jeez.
I've been in lots of boats. It's fun.
I would love to live scope catfish a
Oh.
flathead bite. Oh my
Dude, that would
gosh.
be
Oh, it'd
cool
be
to
epic.
watch.
Oh.
Epic. Nyquist has Mega Live now. He's gonna put it for catfish this winter. Summer it's gonna be sick.
Dang.
Now, do they when
See
they're
him
feeding
leave.
like that? Do they stay flat to the bottom then, or are they coming up? And
So I run bobbers sometimes with
Okay.
live bait. I run a big foam bobber with bullheads. Bullheads.
Oh,
That's
And,
a secret.
And
That's a secret.
Tournament winner.
no, I don't.
No wonder he's not getting his fucking
Good.
plaque.
Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Luke. Now, next year we're gonna have to do the lie detector
Jesus.
deal.
Check your
I
fucking
do
bait before you launch. Here we go.
I don't use bluegill in the Minnesota. I
Anyways.
only use bluegill in Wisconsin.
Yeah, okay.
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 So what do you do with your bobbers?
I suspend my bait sometimes, not super far off bottom, but the flatheads are predatory feeders.
Okay.
So when you throw a 8 or 10 inch bluegill or a bullhead, Jesus, Christ, it's stuck now in my head.
Okay, I can vouch.
That
He's
hole's
not-
getting deeper.
I do not
Shake-
use bluegill
He
as
does
bait.
not-
Will you please say creek chub?
Green shiner, I'll call them whatever you want.
Oh.
But they just inhale baits
Okay.
Mm.
like to the gullet, to the back of the stomach instantly. They create I don't know if you know how they feed. They create a vortex. So when they go up to your bait head first and they open their mouth and it creates a vortex straight into their gullet, and that's what shakes the whole rod in the boat. The whole rod will go zzz really fast when they bite it, and that's them inhaling the bait straight to the gullet, straight through the back of their throat.
That's awesome.
Love
And then
that.
when you have a bite like that, you know that the bait's swallowed. There's no need to wait. You can just set the hook. Yeah. So I love it. It's so it's the best sound, and Dan knows, and Tara knows, it's the best sound in the world.
It's so cool.
When it's dead silent, all you hear is mosquitoes and crickets, and all of a sudden,
Yep.
zzz, and you're just like, holy shit, that's a big one.
The best.
I mean, Luke's boat's pretty big, but my John boat there is a 15-footer.
Your
and
boat's
when-
small.
So,
Yeah.
so when something bites that, it shakes the entire boat.
Yeah, it shakes my big boat too, Dan.
Right.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
they're
you're
strong.
rocking it.
That's Corey.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
I've had big cats unanchor me from.
I've never had
guy.
that, but
That's,
I've had 'em come
boat,
off the bank.
Little boat, little anchor.
if I'm beached though, they'll pull me. They've pulled us off the beach before, many times.
yeah.
When you're fighting a big catfish, they pull hard, man. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, and then you hit the drop off where you're actually fishing.
Yeah, and then your anchor's
and then your
floating.
anchor's not hitting, so now yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
God, it's getting me antsy to fish catfish.
I know.
Yeah, we're getting
Few
him,
more
we're
weeks.
getting him antsy to
I'm
catch
getting
catfish,
kind
I
of
think.
excited about this, man. We got a little bit of weight, but
So I get to
Well,
go.
the river's
I get
right,
to go fishing
right over
for,
there.
Go get to fishing for bullheads.
Yeah.
And then we use 10-inch bullheads, and we go catch the biggest catfish we can find.
nice.
Or the smallest. Those
No.
flatheads do not care the size of a bullhead.
Yeah, a 10-inch. If you can
I-
have a 5-inch bullhead, a 12-inch flathead will eat it, swallow
And
it
the tail's
completely.
sticking out of the mouth.
I firmly believe in bigger bait, bigger fish.
Yeah, you can.
I firmly believe in.
There's a lot of
Paid
people
off.
that
That's
do.
that's paid off for me. I
And
mean,
that's straight from Kansas City.
My biggest last
Yep.
year was on cut shad, so
I was
I
just
don't
gonna
even know
say a
what to
little
say
piece
anymore.
of shad. Caught the
Her biggest
fish of
flathead was
my
on a
summer.
cut shad.
Yep.
Her 36.
36 or
Her
something.
36. Ron Cleveland's 45 was on cut shad.
Yeah.
All of my biggest flatheads last year over 40 or over 36 pounds were on cut bait
Everything
except
was-
one.
Backwards.
Dan hates cut bait, but then he realized how much pounds I was putting in the boat using cut bait for channel cats. He hates channels.
He wanted to be like Luke.
Yeah, he wanted to be a flathead guy.
Yeah, big flathead guy.
Like I've caught
Dude.
22 channel cats already. I caught one in the first 30 seconds I threw my line in, and someone's like,
so
"Are you cheating?"
hey, Luke, I kind of
No.
wanted to pick your brain on this one because one of the lakes I actually fish out west has some cats in it.
It's channel cats.
Yeah, are they going to be dormant?
How
right
far
now,
west?
Or
Not chance.
You talking about GL? They fish in the UPL, not green.
no,
Out west.
Oh, they're
I
fishing
just-
like a paro.
no, it's not that
There's
far.
a lot of catfish in
it's
Lacaparo.
not that far, but it's similar. It's
Big
a
some?
shallower lake.
No,
it's like
you can-
15 feet.
you can
I
catch
mean,
them.
are they gonna?
They're-
So how would I target them then? I mean, am I looking for holes or?
You can put a spoon on with some minnow heads.
Fill it up.
They don't bite heavy in the winter. It's pretty light. So when we were running, we fished the what's the lake by St. Cloud? We fish for catfish, the horseshoe chain.
Horseshoe chain.
Yep.
I used either a jig head and a minnow, or it was a spoon with some minnow heads on it, and they don't like crazy bite it. Like they're definitely slower in the winter.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean you can catch them if they're in there. They should be. So on the Red River, well, this is kind of getting off topic. I don't want to get into it too much, but
Yeah.
you can't catch one on the Red River in the winter. We've tried for many years. A lot of people try catch walleye, but for some reason, I don't know if it's just too far north and they go a little more slow down so much where they
Yeah.
don't eat.
They're just
But you can fish the deepest holes, the shallowest water, and you will not catch a channel cat. And that river has the most channel cats per mile over any river in the entire country, and you cannot catch a winter channel cat. Even the guys up in Lake Winnipeg, when they fish the Red River up there, they don't catch channel cats. And there's no more channel cats than there. So it makes you really think about flatheads going torpor, which is almost hibernation. That's why we close the season in the winter. Our group got that passed actually, which was really awesome. So people can't kill them and snag them in the winter.
It's awesome.
But channel cats typically will eat in the winter. I think the river just might be a little bit different because when we go in the Mississippi and we put the camera down, there's 1,000 channel cats on the camera in a 35-foot hole. And you can put a bait straight down, dead bait, dead shad, and anchor and sit straight on them, and they will not touch it until the water starts to warm up a
Yeah,
little bit.
right about now.
So right about now, they'll start biting, and it'll get really good. I mean, when I went over Pool 2 the other day, there was a lot of boats out there for walleye.
Yeah.
And that season never closes on Pool 2 because you can't keep fish, and you can catch and release even during closed season, which is really cool about Pool 2.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's look at some quick pics here.
Yeah,
Creeds.
I got a bunch of buddies to go pool 2 for walleye, and they straight up told me don't go. They're like, it's bumper boats, and you'll be so pissed off the whole time.
Pool 2?
When?
Yeah.
Like
so
now?
people don't go?
Yeah, no. So like, I don't know if you've experienced that, but like when the walleyes are biting or what down there on any of the pools,
Pool
really.
4?
maybe that's the
I've never
Pool
had no
four is
pool
bumper
4 is
boats.
bumper boats.
Okay, so pool
And
2 is
red
less.
You
lines.
can't keep fish on pool 2 at all ever.
Okay.
So people don't like going there because you can't keep your limit
So
of
you-
fish.
Okay, so you haven't experienced like a bunch of boats.
Pool
on it.
4 I have a
Okay,
ton.
yeah.
That's
Red
probably
Wing.
what I'm thinking.
Pool
then.
2 is not bumper boats
So it's
ever.
just like
The
catch and
confluence,
release.
the confluence of the Minnesota, it's all catch and release, no
Nice.
matter what for walleye on the pool on pool 2. And the confluence of Minnesota, Mississippi is the busiest spot on pool 2, and there's always room there. We were out there on a 40-degree day, and there's maybe 40 boats. When you're on pool 4, there's 400 boats.
Mhm.
I mean, it's literally
That's
bumper
insane.
boats on
Yeah.
pool 4. Pool 2 is good. It keeps the riprap out, and people aren't keeping fish. If you're keeping fish, you're getting reported because everyone's out there hunting for the 12-pound plus. You know, I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
The
that's
trophies.
why it's a trophy pool. And Jacob, and I've told Tara this, Jacob and his group of buddies, they got 11 over 28 inches one night on pool 2. I mean, it's a when you're on them and you figure it out, you can. It's just like pool 4. I mean, he's had even crazier nights on pool 4 when he was out there by himself on a weekday. But those fish see so many jigs on pool 4,
Yeah.
Mm.
Just gotta
and
put your time in.
if you
Yeah.
time and time and go when there's not a lot of boats out and there's less pressure and those fish can relax, and the barometer doesn't matter as much on the river, but fishing pressure I bet does.
Oh yeah.
There's fish all over on your graph, and they're all walleye and sauger. I mean, the majority of them are, and sometimes fish don't bite. That's fishing, though. I mean, you know how that is for the
Oh.
UPL too.
Certainly, yeah. Well, this year especially too, that we had such heavy snow cover right away.
Yeah.
Those weeds were dying off right away.
yeah, they
like,
were.
Everything's oxygen depleting right away. So those fish just become more lethargic. They're
Yep.
not chasing as hard as they used to be and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
That was the same thing on the river this year. The water got so low and so slow. I talked to Dan about this. The oxygen level was just bad, and the deepest water, the coldest water, and the fastest water is the coldest in the summer.
Yeah.
It's opposite of winter. When you go deep in the summer, it's cold. When you go deep in the winter, it's warm. It makes you wonder. Like we checked temp on the St. Croix River the other day. Water temp at the bottom was 42.5 degrees
Yeah,
with the low probe, and that's way warmer than up top.
we've been
Mhm.
catching our walleyes in the main river current this year.
Okay.
And normally you catch them in the eddies and stuff.
Yeah, I ended
Okay.
the season flathead fishing middle river,
Yep. It's so
and I
weird.
crushed.
Huh.
It just changes with the oxygen levels. You know, fish change.
So are you
Yeah.
hunting a lot more green weeds then? And you're
Yeah, so I mean the
'Cause
first
that's-
2 lakes haven't lended themselves well to that, and honestly French isn't going to either. But I do prefer weeds. If I
Yeah.
can find weeds, so those, especially the big crappies, they're hunting, man. They're going to hunt like
Yeah.
walleye do. So they're going to be in wolf packs and they're going to be singular fish, and they love burying in weeds during the day when that sun comes out. So you're definitely, if I can get on a weed bite, that's where I want to be. I'll take that over basin fishing at any point.
all day,
Yeah.
Cool.
all day long or night.
Yeah, and you hear about like when people catch personal best crappies, and you hear it all the time. Like,
They're
"Oh, I was
shallow
just-
in the weeds.
yeah, I was just dropping down. And it was right below the ice. You hear that all the time,
Yeah,
and that's what they are. They're hunting under the ice just like a pike would, and they're just cruising.
Hmm.
That's so interesting. I don't know.
I don't know a
anything
lot about
crap.
panfish. I know where to find them on the
Yeah.
river in the spring, and like sometimes parts of the year on certain lakes I fished a long time. But if someone says, "Where do I find the crappies or panfish at this time of the year?" I have no clue.
Yeah.
So
No
yeah,
idea.
I mean, this year with the weed die off right away, oxygen levels down, the water's dirty. That really dirties up the water.
Yeah,
quick.
it was.
So now it's more
Running a
those
lot of white
break line
and-
fishing and
Yep.
a little deeper. Yeah.
See, I've been fishing like, I don't know. I'm just finding breaks, transitions in the bottoms, like from
Yeah.
deeper to deeper water, And
Yeah.
I mean, one of them, say it goes from like 12 to 15, and I'll find it from like 13 to 14 with some weeds on the bottom. And I mean, they're there.
Oh, certainly. Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you can find a bottom transition.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
what I'm hunting. Like there was one day I had my hub set up and I had like 11 feet on one side of my hub and then like 12 and a half on the other. I had 2 holes at 11 and then 2 at 12 and a half. And I mean, that spot was dynamite. Like we
Yeah.
crushed
You know
that
the
day.
the hardest part about being enjoy pan fishing when and posting pictures when you're a cat fisherman, because I'm friends with a lot of guys down
Telling your
south.
mom you're
Every time, no, every time I catch, like I caught a 15-inch white on the pool two years ago, and I was like really proud of it. Posted it, and all of the catfish guys down south like, dude, that's some sweet bait. like I let it go, guys.
Oh yeah, you get crucified, man. keeping that.
yeah. Like I'm not keeping that. Oh, I did get You ever catch hybrids?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, that's what that 18 was. Was a hybrid.
Okay,
They
'cause we
tend to
got
be
a real
little
big
bigger.
one in my boat 2 years ago.
Yeah. Oh,
That's cool.
awesome.
Pool
Yeah.
too as well.
Yeah. If you can find a lake that has the hybrids, they'll be the bigger fish every time.
It's so cool. I looked at it, I was like, it looks like a black and it looks like a white. And I sent it to my biologist, but he's like, that's a hybrid. I was
Yeah.
like, heck yeah, that's
Gets
sick.
that-
I'm kind of
cool
wondering if I
iridescent
haven't
blue.
hooked a couple of them like that.
You'll
'cause
know.
They're weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is this? I can't tell.
They're
Like,
literally a mix.
yeah, you can't.
They got the yellow bellies.
They got the stripes almost, but they have the black spots.
Yeah,
yep,
and
so
that's
they'll
what
have-
I've
yeah.
seen, and I was like, what the
Mhm.
hell?
And they
I
get
don't
like an
even know.
iridescent,
Yeah.
bluish green.
They
to
get the
backs.
bluish green iridescent.
Yeah.
That's a hybrid. It's cool, man.
So like we just
That's good
fished.
to know.
Pokegama was our second tournament, and that's got whites and blacks. And hybrids were actually what we were targeting. If you could find those hybrids, they were the
They're the
heaviest fish.
tanks.
Now, question
Yep.
is, do you classify that as its own species PB?
I think the state counts it as a black.
That's what I'm wondering. For your personal, do you count
Oh.
it as just a hybrid or black or white?
I'd count it. You know,
I
I
almost got to go hybrid, right?
I think you have to because they are in a class of their own. But most people just throw them in with.
And then
black.
there's species freaks. Like I'm going for my 100 species. I'm trying to here this year, hopefully.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend Joe. He's a big species guy. He's gotten well over 100 now, and he doesn't classify any hybrids as their own species for his list because he said the diehard species people don't count hybrids as a species except for like wipers, which is a hybrid between a white
Yep.
bass and a striped bass.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I never asked him about hybrid crappies. I should ask him about it. But personally, I would have my own. Hybrid would be my PB if I had a.
Oh yeah.
If I
and
got one.
They black crappies will spawn a lot shallower than the whites will,
Yep.
and in different locations, kind of. So for there to be that crossover, it takes like special
The
conditions. in that
perfect
lake.
condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're cool, man. They definitely get
Yeah.
big though.
That's awesome.
And it's funny, those whites, like you'll get a giant white and it just won't weigh. So you'll get like a black crappie that's, you know, an inch and a half, 2 inches shorter, and they'll weigh the same.
Yeah. Just thick and
Yeah.
football-y.
They're
Yeah.
just solid. They got shoulders.
in lead.
Yeah, yours is like the
Shoulder.
wonder of both
Damn.
worlds, huh?
Yeah. Well, so and I will say that lake actually had a bigger one pulled out after.
Really?
So there's
Wait, bigger than
still-
18?
Oh yeah.
There's a
Wow.
lake.
What is this?
Yeah, there's like
There's a lakes
Oh,
around here
shit.
where there. I know a guy that got a 19 and a
It's
quarter.
really next to the nuke
I mean,
plant.
you know.
Yeah,
I,
my God.
I lost
The
one that
warm
was
water
around
runoff from the
18 this
nuke
year.
plant.
Yeah, people catch them.
Do you have a picture
I do.
in here?
No, but on my phone.
Let's take a look at some pictures.
We have a picture of his big black crappie he caught.
This one right there. Is that actually
Okay, that's a
Northwind
sweet
photo
pic.
shoot?
That was the photo shoot. Yeah.
That's a sweet pic.
Yeah. So Blake Tollefson and Doug Glimmerman both are awesome photographers. So
Yeah.
they get some cool.
They
shots
have
of us.
some sweet
That's awesome.
cameras.
Wow.
So that was whenever you were with Matt Quick and Corey, wasn't it? Not that long
was,
ago.
Yeah,
That's
man.
the one I used for the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Those gills have.
Were you
shoulders
happy
on
with
them.
my thumbnail that I made for you?
I'm happy with everything you do.
All right, good.
You're
I'm
perfect.
glad you are. I'm glad you
Did
appreciate
that fish
me.
eat good?
Look at that.
They smack, man. That lake too. And the funny thing about that is you'll catch crappies mixed in, and they'll be the same size as the gills. They weigh the same.
And you're putting all the GPS coordinations after the stream in the bottom.
uploading, yeah.
Okay.
Link in bio.
So if you guys want to know all of his spots, make sure if you share it, you get all of his GPS
Everybody-
coordinates.
everybody-
Follow me for more.
Everybody's gonna end up in the creek behind the shop.
So yeah, and actually
Yeah.
that crappie's a
I
prime
like
example of
Yeah.
that one hit right under the ice.
I guess the size of that fish, you guys,
So I've
because
had
it has
that
a
happen a lot.
giant mouth. That's an 18-inch bucket mouth. If that's an
like a
18-inch
bass.
mouth of a fish, and it wasn't that big, and it really looks like it.
Yeah, I think that was just a touch over 15 was what that one
That's
came in
big.
at.
That's a big body
That's
black crappie
that's
there.
a big crappie.
I
That's
like-
a good
like
job
it.
hiding them big hands.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Oh man, it's so hard. It took me a long time to figure out how to hold fish. I'm still not quite.
I can't take good pictures like that. I try and like they're flopping out of my hand whenever it goes.
That's
it
a
just
beautiful-
doesn't
That's
happen.
how you do it right there.
I like the
You know how to
color
get the
Get your
really
hand
big. You know how
out
to
of
get
the
the
way.
really big panfish to like stop flipping and flopping. You just whack them on the head.
Yeah, you're gonna keep
I want
it
to
either
throw them
way.
back.
I'm just kidding. I know.
And then you're trying to revive them in the hole.
Yeah.
That one's so
Pour it
light
out.
Well, we're
color.
using
Oh
It
yeah,
this
looks
one.
tournament
weird.
fishers.
Pour
throwing
Coke
them
in their
back.
mouth.
That's an HDR filter right
Yeah,
there.
why does that fish look weird? Am I?
Well, why does
They do kind of
he
bleach
kinda
out
looks
when they
weird,
get big.
too.
Yeah. Do you have any desire to go to don't tell me the
That's
name
a
of the
gill.
lake.
That's at 12.
Is it the one in Arizona?
Yeah, what's it called?
Ah,
Havasu.
Havasu, yeah,
do,
dude. The
actually.
I wanna
Havasu
go
looks
there, too.
amazing.
A couple of the guys that I competed against last year, Clayton Ketterling and
I know
Anthony
Clayton,
Rodriguez.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Clayton's a hammer. He's an
Yeah.
awesome guy.
Um,
He's one that I've learned quite a bit from,
Yeah,
and I don't think he even knows it. Like I just fly on the wall,
I
absorb
feel
anything
it.
that's
No,
coming out.
I'm
Yeah.
with you there.
But they went down there and yeah, they were catching those big shell crackers, and oh my gosh.
I want to catch
So
one.
here's Corey's comment. You read it.
Usually, when a male white is on the bed and leaves the female a black. Wait, I'm done commenting.
So you're gonna place.
So-
So you're in third right now.
Yep.
You're going for first.
Yeah.
So is there another league above what you're in right now that you achieved to be in, or
The NAIFC was the national
Yep.
Yeah.
circuit, and so that would have been
They just
the
closed.
next step. Yeah, but now that that's closed, what we're seeing is one-off tournaments pop up, kind of these championships. So Clayton actually started his own. It's called like the Kings of Panfish.
so now you're kind of your own now?
Nice.
Yeah, and it's gonna be out on Minnewaska, and like we got guys coming from Nebraska,
Minnewaska?
Michigan. Yeah.
Like
You
in
guys say that-
Glenwood?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I grew up. My parents or my grandma had a cabin on there growing up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I fished Minnewaska as a little kid.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
where
weird
he
place
got
to
in.
have from.
intel.
I don't.
Hold on. Is this an open tournament?
So it's filled up already, but if
Son
people
of
don't
a
pay, they'll
biscuit.
spots will open.
Okay.
Well,
If your partner bails, I have hunting land up there that I go to.
Ah.
Very
So I know
nice.
that like pretty good.
Yeah. Hey man, I might have to talk to you about this later.
And then I got my position in the UPL, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, panfish are great.
Yeah, panfish lights.
So yeah, so
I
he
know
does
how to
have
get
a
that.
waiting list going. So if people don't pay, he's going to pull from the waiting list to put them on it. So you
Nice.
definitely can contact Clayton if that's something you want to get in on. And then the other one is Minnesota does have the MN Made tournament series as well. Very
Yep.
similar to UPL. Biggest difference is going to be they do not allow forward sonar on tournament day.
that's what I like about them.
Cool.
Mhm.
So you
I
can
love it.
pre-fish with it. You just can't use it on tournament
Sure.
day. Yep.
So Corey said,
And they do hometown heroes.
I'm
event
just looking
every
to
year,
catch
Yeah,
which is amazing.
for Luke,
and I
'cause
helped
it
out
sounds
with
like
that
he likes to use.
a few years.
No. It's illegal, Dan. What did Matt Quick tell you to do?
Matt Quick?
Yeah.
What about what?
What did he tell you to do?
Corey said, tell him to tell them what Matt Quick told you to do.
Get a vasectomy?
Corey.
Is that what we're touching on? Is that where this is
I
going?
don't, that's
Oh,
what
God.
he said to ask you.
You must
Corey,
have,
Corey's
you, must,
just on there
you must
stirring
have
the pot
kids-
right now.
you must have kids interfering with your fishing life.
I got two little girls. Love them to death.
Aw.
Little harbors of illness gave me this cold.
No.
But
You gotta love it,
Oh,
dude.
cheers. I
Yeah.
got two
Oh,
harbors
My daughter
boys.
gets me
that
sick
gave
all
me
the
this.
time.
There's that picture.
Yeah,
Looks like we're-
look at that big old.
yeah, so I mean, I have giant rocks for hands, and it took.
That's
two
a
to hold
nice
that thing.
crappie.
I was trying to.
That's something.
That's
they
a
would say.
hybrid, isn't it?
That was definitely,
Yeah.
definitely something they would say in ice fishing on filter.
Definitely did a good job hiding his hands on that one.
Yeah, that's a nice gill.
Don't post that on,
I
on ice
can't
fishing
even
on filter.
imagine.
You know,
You coulda held
speaking
that
of-
out a little
Speaking of
more.
hybrids, I'll go over this really quick. So there's a hybrid catfish as well. I don't know if you know that.
I do not.
I did
There's a
not.
hybrid between a blue and a channel cat that they're farm raised. And I asked our DNR if he thinks they would survive here because they would get exponentially larger than channel catfish.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think there's a stocking program in the country for blue channel hybrids. But how sick would that be if those hybrids would survive here and we
Yeah, I
could
know.
get 60-pound channel cat hybrids? That'd be sick,
would be.
wouldn't
That'd
it?
be-
Now, do you eat
I think
any
that
of
would
them?
interrupt my
What?
walleyes.
Do you eat any
around
of the
here.
channels?
Yeah, sometimes I eat more walleye,
The
but
smaller
I've
ones are
tried
good.
a couple times. I can't make them taste good.
I can help you.
Like you get one bite that's phenomenal, and the
You ever
next
heard
bite
of
you're like
sh-
straight mud.
You ever,
Time out.
you ever heard of shore lunch?
I have heard.
All right, so here's the thing: when you fillet, what body of water are they coming out of for one?
It is part of the Crow River system.
So that could be part of the problem, but that connects to the Mississippi, so I don't think it would be a problem. But the main thing is when you fillet them, you wanna when you get
Yep.
the fish, you wanna cut the tail
when you
off.
catch them,
When you catch the fish,
you
cut
want to
the-
bleed them out.
cut the tail off,
Okay.
and it'll squirt blood, and they'll be alive for like an hour,
Or
and they'll
they-
finally die, or cut the gill.
I do the gills.
I usually
yeah.
just slice the
Okay.
tail off where it starts to get fat at the end. I slice it off with my knife,
So bleeding them out.
bleed them
takes-
out completely,
okay.
and then once you fillet them, you'll be able to see the yellow line of of meat on the edges, and you want to cut all of that off, and you won't have any issues, and they'll taste great.
Okay.
And you can soak them in buttermilk for an hour before you fry them. That helps a
So-
lot too.
So
The other
I've
way
heard
that I
these,
do
like
catfish.
These 47 pounders, the belly meat's the best. It's like
Oh, we're
this
talking flathead.
1 inch layer of belly meat
Flat-
underneath them big things.
It's kind of like pork.
I don't
belly.
want to talk about. I don't want to talk about how much I
Sweet
love
doggy.
flathead because I don't want people to kill them, but they're so good.
They're better than channels.
Oh,
Really?
they're way better.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
one of my favorite
Catfish are
fish.
Right,
amazing.
there's that picture right
Look
there.
at that crap pie.
It's a tall boy.
So how I do with my cats,
Corey was talking about
is I
he
do
was,
them in a foil pack on the grill and some butter and some
Oh, okay.
seasoning, and I'll
Yeah.
close them up and let them steam for a little bit, and then I open them up and smoke them.
Yeah, that
Put
sounds
some
good.
heavy
Corey.
too.
smoke on them.
Oh,
Corey was
yeah.
asking about you holding the fish.
me holding a fish.
Yeah, but Matt,
I got a bunch of pictures of it. I'm just looking for one that has the background blurred out in it.
Wow.
You need someone to edit a picture for you because Tara's really good at it.
Wow.
no, I mean Corey's asking. I guess what Matt asked you to do is about holding the fish.
Oh, yeah, no. So Matt Quick, when we were fishing, he did claim to have like the secret sauce, and it was something about sticking your finger in the butt of the fish.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard of
Yeah.
that.
That's true.
And so I'm not gonna. I haven't confirmed it, so I don't know. I don't want to
Dude,
spread that rumor.
If you ever,
Hey,
if you ever catch,
Hold
yeah,
on, hold on. I want to
100%.
do this right here.
Dan
look
did
at
it.
Yeah, so he's like, you flip
Hold
out
on.
that fin. the
Dan's
anal
finger
fin
is
to cover your
gone.
hand, and then you just.
Dan's finger is gone. That's the number. When you catch a giant walleye or a big catfish, you get the
Yeah.
finger slip once in a while, and your finger disappears, and there's
Oh,
nothing you
man.
can do about it.
It's coming down.
It's gonna fall down.
Either way.
It's gonna fall down now.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Everything will.
He was gonna show a picture of him fingering a walleye that he got. In case you guys are curious.
That's how you hold them.
I hope my mom's
So what-
not
what-
watching us.
I don't know if you talked about.
Hi, Lisa.
What do you use?
And I hope she
Plastic
is.
base? Can you use live bait? You can use anything.
Yeah, I would say 90% of the time I'm running plastics.
Okay.
And then it's just when you get those really finicky fish, that you're going to a live bait presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, you see that in the clear waters, a lot of the river system, stuff like that. You mentioned Green Lake,
Yeah.
that was one of them where they really wanted.
You
So
summerfish
is it
green?
like plastics?
I have,
for,
yeah.
Or are you running
You ever fish the mill?
more jigs?
What's that?
The old mill there with the lagoon?
That goes in the nest over there?
Yeah,
I haven't,
it's
no.
my aunt's property.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh, nice, man. It's a cool
I
area.
grew up there.
There's
so.
some phenomenal fishing in there.
Oh yeah.
Both
really
walleye,
good.
bass, panfish.
Oh, I know.
You were like tungsten. Is that your
Yeah.
preferred?
So
you guys want to exchange numbers now?
I can get it through
Okay,
Scott.
Oh, you guys want to go to the bar and get it there to give it to each other later?
yeah, no, man. I got a first place on Green last year.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah. So I like that lake. The locals definitely didn't
Yep.
appreciate us being there 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Well,
I tell
Minnesota
you what. Oh,
Made had a tournament out there too as well, don't they?
Oh, did they?
On Green?
Maybe I
I
don't
think
know.
they do.
That's
Okay.
such a big body of water. I don't know why they're making a fuss about that, but
And you know what? Like I had a guy actually seek me out after the tournament. It's kind of funny because we're sitting there fishing, and we have locals cruising around, just coming up all to all the tournament teams and mark, and then take off.
yeah.
Mark,
Yeah.
and so you're pretty much just unlocking the lake for the locals.
And what do you do? I mean, that's their
Yeah.
that's their
Yeah.
spots, and
And then
well, it's their spots now.
yeah. And I had a guy find me after the tournament on Facebook and just say, "Hey, that spot that you got your crappies, I've been doing catch and release on it for 2 weeks, and then you guys came and completely blew that spot out. And now it's crap."
Oh,
And I'm like, "Dude, that was 35 feet deep. You've been doing catch and release on 35 feet deep
No,
crappies
every
for
fish
2
is that.
weeks?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it was us, man. I don't think it was us."
Oh, that's so. That's. Oh,
You
that's
keep
so
all the
true,
fish for
dude.
the tournament then?
You're such an asshole.
So by Minnesota,
Fucking
by
damn.
Minnesota law, anything in your bucket is yours.
Okay.
So we do try to be selective with that. If we do get a really big fish, Matt will actually come weigh
Yeah.
it on the ice and
Yeah.
let us release it back.
That's
They'll-
cool.
They'll call him and he like just hauls ass out there and weighs it. And
And is the winning teams usually by ounces?
It can be. Some of those
Yeah.
lakes it really is.
I
Yeah.
figured so.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
like Chisago is such a fishy lake. Everybody's getting on them. So I mean, from like 3rd place to like 15th place, you're talking less than a pound difference.
that's cool.
it's awesome.
It's like an opposite of catfish lake because the fish there's such a dramatic size difference between a pound and 45 pounds. You know, it's
Well,
different when you're fishing for panfish.
Whether you're on them or you're not.
Yeah,
Yep. Oh, I know.
that's true. Yeah, Tara knows.
And I know.
Those
I
are-
went from first to worst. I was on them, and then
You
I
weren't
wasn't.
worst.
I mean,
Ah, it was
it's an
good enough.
accomplishment in itself.
That was good enough. close.
You
to
were
me.
out there.
Some of those people fished all year, and I don't even think they hit 20 pounds the whole season.
Oh,
That's dedication.
see, I did my prom. I pre-fish on Wednesdays. I think I caught.
I think
all
I did
my
20
fish.
pounds in 4.5 minutes that last week. Channel cat. Just channel cat.
No more
Corey.
pre-fishing for that.
Now, in the catfish world, do you think forward sonar would help you with that?
Oh my gosh.
As far as like, would you use it to find structure or the fish themselves?
Structure.
Or- okay.
Structure.
Fish-
You find log
fish
jams
and
and shit
structure.
like that.
I could
Hell
literally,
yeah,
I can find fish under logs with my side image.
yeah.
What are we working
I
on?
fished-
2 hour series this time?
I fish.
We're
I
almost
fish
close to it.
specific fish on my graph.
Yeah.
If I had forward sonar, I could go up to every underwater piece of wood I knew of and
Yep.
see if there's a flathead under the spot. I know where they all sit. They all
Okay.
sit in the same spot in the wood. If there's a certain log in the water a certain way, they're always in the exact same spot.
Yeah, and the
Gotcha.
older the wood, the better.
That is-
And-
older, bigger wood is the better, bigger wood you
And,
can
and
get.
we all kind of know the older, better wood.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's gonna get cropped.
All right.
But we want to thank you for talking about the
Yeah.
UPL. Thank you for
And
talking
everything
about
else.
everything.
Putting up with us.
Yeah.
We've had
Oh,
two
man, this has
two
been
great
great.
podcasts in a row with two great guests.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you for Scott
Thank you.
for bringing in your friend.
Yeah.
Now you're part of the Carver family.
You're
So
gonna have to
Hey,
come
I
back and-
appreciate it. This was great, man. I really
And,
enjoyed it.
If we didn't run so late, I was gonna see if you wanted to fish after, but I don't.
Tune in tomorrow for
Man.
part 2.
do you have any
Right.
social medias you want to promote to get people to come to?
You know what? Just check out Norfin, Lucky John, Razor. Check out Macula Tackle. Those ones. Yeah, that would be great.
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this podcast. Are we next week?
It's not
So
confirmed. but
I
we-
don't have it confirmed, but I had messaged Tony Tessing from
We're gonna
Hometown
have a
Hero
podcast.
Outdoors.
Okay, perfect. And it's
But
starting
I've
to get
got-
into the cat season too. So we'll start bringing cat guys eventually. Down south, they're starting to roll. So
Yeah. Yep.
people want to see it, and we'll get a couple more. Scott will get some more guests in here this winter still. Dan's
got a
going to bring
few
in a really
people
good
in.
guest. No, he's not. I'm just kidding.
Sure.
Yeah, you can.
Yes, he
And
is.
I'll bring
Bringing
the
it-
chicks eventually.
Yeah, Terry's going to bring him in. But
Yeah.
look out for next week. If we are, we'll make a post, and you guys will know. Other than that, it'll be the week after that. So
All right.
make sure you come in.
I'll
We're
find somebody.
We
one
are
way or another.
scheduling the Catfish grand opening here for early April. We're going to have a ton of rods in stock, a ton of gear. Reels are going to be in stock, and Danny Two Cats will be there. It is
I'll be
confirmed.
here.
My Minnesota Vikings friends, at least one of them is going to be here to sign autographs, take pictures if you guys want to hang out with him.
Nice.
So he's coming. He told me he's down.
And if you want Luke Hench's autograph,
If you want my autograph, I'm here too. I doubt you will.
state record holder,
Yeah.
Wisconsin sturgeon,
But,
you might want it.
We appreciate all of you guys coming in here. Make sure you stop at Old Carver Fishing Bait and Tackle. Get yourself some gear. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Andrew, for coming in, bro.
Thank you,
Thank
Andrew.
Thank you for having me.